That being said, we're talking about location. We're talking about the treacherous weather, the city of Buffalo thriving. Well, some people believe that they're not going to get an opportunity to. There are some reports from KDKA radio saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the NFL would change locations due to very inclement weather out in Orchard Park. As of right now, it's kind of a back and forth. I've been getting updates throughout the week. I think everybody in the media room has been getting updates throughout the week. We're trying to stay as in touch and as in tune with what's going to happen as possible. 50% chance that they're going to get hit with some lake effect snow, which obviously would be a blizzard. That'd probably be 2 to 3 feet of snow. Would be crazy. 60-mile-per-hour gusts of wind all throughout game day and the day before game day. Not the best conditions, but like you just said, this is the city of Buffalo. This is what they do. This is where they thrive. I have been told that despite those reports, the Pittsburgh Steelers themselves have not been informed of a contingency plan, or at least have not been informed that the NFL is considering a location change at this moment, that it will be at Orchard Park at Highmark Stadium. Steven, we'll start with you over there. I mean, you just said it yourself. They thrive. Don't expect a change to be made. Would the NFL even consider a change? Or would they look at this and say, why would we not want a snow game in Buffalo for our fans, everybody on television, to watch in the first round of the playoffs with two absolutely legendary AFC teams?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like Buffalo would rather, people in Buffalo would rather cut off their hands than move this game, because it's, like I said, it's right up their alley. This is their weather. I mean, this is a game that I feel like the Bills should be able to thrive in. This is weather that the Bills should be used to. And these are two northern football teams. Like, it's not like any of these teams are strangers to playing in the cold. I mean, maybe the snow is a different animal, but I feel like both cities would embrace this, both teams would embrace this, and it's just, I don't know, it's football, man. Like, if they weren't going to move a snow game last year, I mean, the Bills played in a snow playoff game last year, and they weren't going to move that one. I understand it was a bit of a different animal, but still, I mean, like, this is football, man. Let's embrace the weather. Like, you're supposed to be able to play through a lot, unless that field is, broken in some way. Let's play on it. Roll the ball out, clear the snow off if you need to, and let's go.
Yeah, so as of right now, the consideration or the report says that they would move the game to Cleveland, which, Nick, I'm going to toss this to you. Isn't that a home? That's a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At that point, that is no longer a home game for the Buffalo Bills. This is a team that plays there at least once a year. We've already been to Cleveland once this season. That's a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers if that was to happen.
Oh, absolutely, because you'd see the fans would definitely have an upper hand getting to Cleveland and all that in that situation. But also, just like, they're familiar with that stadium and stuff like that throughout all the games they've played. I just think it's kind of weird, though, that, like, we've seen so many crazy snow games that ended up happening in the playoffs and stuff like that, and it's like, why is this gonna get moved? Like, is there like any inclination that, like, there's gonna be like mass power outages or stuff like that? Like, that's, for me, that's like kind of what would make or break. There was like that storm that they had, like, I don't know if it was last year or if it was 2 years ago, where like the city of Buffalo was like kind of shut down.
Oh yeah.
And I understand, moving a game for reasons like that, but if it's just snow, let the players play. Like, 100%. These are two teams that can pound the rock and be able to run the football. Let them do what they do best.
Exactly. And there's nobody. Look, I'm telling you. And we started with this entire conversation has pretty much been the same, but there is not one person in the city of Buffalo, no matter how you could have 70 inches of snow in that city. There is not one person in that city that would say, "Oh, let's move the game to Cleveland. That would be great. We would appreciate." None of them. First off, if there's 70 inches of snow in Buffalo, how you getting to Cleveland? That's not, right. You're not leaving Buffalo to go to Cleveland. So essentially, that is all Steelers fans. That's an hour and a half drive from the city, depending on where you are. It doesn't work out in any way. And exactly what Nick said, the NFL wants this. They want snow. They want the weather. They want to be able to talk about for the next 48 hours how crazy this is going to be. ESPN wants it. NFL Network wants it. They want the broadcast to mention the snow accumulation like 100 times throughout this game. That's what they built. That's what they're built for. That's what they're here for. That's what they're looking for.
And well, I guess like to kind of go back to your question earlier, like why would it be Cleveland? You know, if you're like trying to create like a home game for a certain team or trying to mimic a home game, like go to New York, go to, MetLife Stadium or something like that. Like the fact that Cleveland would have been the choice for this is, I don't know, seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't know how far Buffalo and Cleveland are. I guess it would be the other side of Lake Erie. So maybe it's like closer than MetLife or something. So as of right now, I don't expect a change to be made. On top of that, when it comes to the actual conditions themselves, I firsthand have experienced 2 freezing cold days at Acrisure Stadium, one of them in the rain. They've practiced there the last 2 days. And, look, at Pittsburgh's windy as a whole. No matter where you go, you're pretty much in a wind tunnel. And it's freezing cold and the weather stinks sometimes, especially this time of the year. Acrisure Stadium's a whole other animal. And I've been on the field for the first time in my life the last 2 days. That's as bad as I don't know how people sit down there. I don't know how you do not play in a game but stand on the sidelines at Acrisure Stadium. The wind is 100 times worse actually on the field than it is in any part of the stands at Acrisure. The Steelers have been gearing up for this. They'll be fine. I think they're looking forward to it at this point, and it actually plays in their favor. We'll